Hi, I'm Ray. So I have a neuromuscular disability that gives me low endurance but fairly normal strength. So a lot of what I use is good for people with normal or strong upper body muscles, and just people who just need assistance with the extra maybe endurance aspect of it, or ability to get up hills, things like that. So all of my equipment here fits in the back of just a regular SUV. I have just a normal Subaru. I have a regular manual tie-light chair with larger off-road tires on it. I have a Max Mobility Smart Drive that can clip onto a bracket on the back of this chair. And then I also use a freewheel to clip onto the front, give me clearance and give me a little more traction going forward. I can assemble all this pretty easily out of the back of the car here. So I just have to take the brakes off, move this onto the ground. All of this is lightweight, so the chair weighs almost the same as the drive itself. I can put this on the back of the bracket here. It all turns on easily. And the freewheel, anyone who can't stand can also assemble this part of it. It simply clips onto a fixed foot plate. The folding foot plates don't always work with these, but if you work through a rep, they'll get you the kind that you need for that. This usually clips on with the bracket here. You center it on the front of your chair and then clip it on like that. After that, this all moves.
Well, I love the mountain biking because it just adds more of a challenge to the regular trail biking that I do every week with Spalding. I chose this bike, first of all, because Spalding had this one to offer me, but it's a leg-powered bike, and that's what I need to use. They changed the shifter from the right to the left so that I didn't have to cross over while I was riding, so I can shift. It's on backwards, but it's fine. There are cages and straps that go around my heel, and that's it. Hey, hi.
Pretty much. Out you go.
That's it.
That's it.
So this is an off-road hand cycle. It is basically taking a regular able-bodied bike on two wheels, flipping it upside down, turning it backwards, and putting it on three wheels. I like to throw the brakes on. Although my legs stabilize me, they're not going to stop the wheels from rolling. As far as getting on it, make sure that leg's over it. This one right here. And then you'll see when I twist my body a little bit, I'm able to kind of guide this knee through everything and get it in the right spot. So everything's connected. So if I twist my upper body, it's gonna move my knees. It's gonna make things get out of the way or get in the way depending on how I'm moving. So grabbing onto the backrest, I slowly slide down and get my knee to go under. Get right here. And then having no grip in the left hand, I had to learn ways to be able to like brace the forks when I put my other leg on. So, you know, having my elbow underneath here and my forearm on top, I can kind of put a lot of pressure and keep it more in place. Throw my legs up into place like that. Get the crank on a little bit. Berm turn. Get the lean on. Into it. Nice. And then I actually have a belt that I use that keeps my legs straight so they don't flop out too far. And then I have this strap right here that wraps around my wrist. This has got a thing called quad grips on it. So I don't have a grip in my left hand, right? So the reason why this wraps around my wrist is it's my glove for my left side because these things will kind of create blisters on my wrist. So it goes through the middle like that. Now I can pull with my wrist, right? What we did for my situation is the brake and the shifting is in the same gear, or in the same system. So I push this to the left and that makes it easier, to the right and it makes it harder, and then this is my brake. This is for my chain rings up here. I hardly ever shift that. I'm usually in my smaller chain ring anyway when I'm on trails because they're pretty technical and hard to crank on, but that allows me to just crank with my left arm and manage this to go up and down between my chain rings there.
I'm good.
and sit down.
A Molten Rock Obama 7, and it is a four-wheeled bike that is fully electric. It has full suspension on all four wheels, and it drives just like my power chair, and it affords me to get out into the woods and go on trails that I used to go on when I used to mountain bike. So the bike is custom made to work for someone with that uses a joystick, but you can also get a head array, you can also get sip and puff, and you can also get a handlebar driven. It has a chest strap so that I don't move around too much because I don't have a whole lot of trunk control. I searched long and hard for this bike. At the time, a few years ago, there weren't as many fully electric off-road bikes, but now there really are. There's a ton, but I had to do a lot of searching on the internet, and I had to buy it sight unseen, which kind of stunk because it's a super expensive bike, but it was totally worth it, and that's why we're doing the Knobby Tire Ride and Roll, so that you can test out things like this when we're able to after the pandemic. I try to access trails as much as I can. Unfortunately, there aren't many around here that are specifically made for wheelchair or adaptive bikes, but most trails, fire roads, and double track are pretty good for this bike, and it can get into more technical trails, but a lot of trails that have like bridges or water passages can be kind of difficult because a lot of organizations that do make bridges in trails don't really make them wide enough for things like this, and we're really trying to fight to make that happen. So when you're out and you see people out there, advocate for universal access.